Hey guys, I'm Charlie Atkins, and this is the 20-minute bodyweight core workout that's a part of my 30-day fitness challenge. Let's go ahead and get started by doing a little bit of a warm-up. Coming down onto the mat, we're gonna start with cat-cow. So I'm gonna come into quadruped position, shoelaces down on the mat, shoulders right over the wrists, and then all I wanna do is take a giant inhale, opening up my chest, taking my gaze up towards the ceiling, and then as I exhale, I'm gonna tuck everything in towards the center, arching my back. Inhale up, dropping the belly button down, exhale, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Now as I'm in this cow position, open up the chest, and as I move to cat, really arch the back, pressing through to the shoulders. Now let's move on to our next exercise, which is in the same position. You're just gonna move into bird dog, where I reach opposite arm and opposite foot in opposite directions. Coming back to center, switching sides. Now you wanna try and maintain your balance without losing the hips. So staying nice and strong throughout the core. You're just gonna be alternating opposite arm and opposite hand, opposite foot and opposite arm. Pressing through your heel, reaching with the opposite hand. You wanna keep a nice flat back. Coming back to center. And then getting ready to move into our next exercise. We're just gonna tuck the toes, bringing the hips up, start with the knees bent. And then as you lengthen the legs, we're just gonna reach one heel up towards the ceiling, bring that foot right back down, and switching sides. So straight line from my hands to my hips, and then straight line from my hips to my heels. I'm alternating by lifting one leg up and then the other, reaching through the heels, trying not to point the toe, pressing through the heel, lowering down, and then just switching sides. When I lift one leg up, I don't want to twist the hips at all. I want to stay facing down towards the mat. From there, we're going to lower right back down to our knees, tuck the toes under, come up to a bear plank position, and then I'm just going to step one foot back, step the other foot back. I'm in push-up plank position, and I'm just gonna alternate between going through the two. If you're having trouble balancing your knees up off the ground for about an inch, you can always lower the knees, pause for a second, lift up, and then restart. So I'd come back to center, I'd drop my knees, lift up, and step back. Or you just can keep the movement moving, And then we'll move to our next exercise, which is where we'll be coming up to standing. So ahead and come up to standing, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your knee and hug it into your chest by pulling on the shin, lower this leg down, and switch sides. So hugging knee into chest, and then switching sides. Really just opening up the hamstring by lifting through. Try to keep the chest up tall, hug the knee into the chest, and alternate sides. So this should feel good on the hips. We got about 10 seconds here. And then we're gonna move into something that I like to call a standing oblique exercise. Let's do one more on each leg, pull it in, here. Now, standing hip distance apart, hands go behind the head. All you're gonna do is bring same side elbow and same side knee together, switching sides. Trying to get that side body crunch, opening up the hips at the same time. Again, we are doing bodyweight core. This is a good way to do a standing ab exercise if you don't want to always lay down on the mat. We've got about 5 seconds here. We're doing 3, 2, 1, and then moving into our first strength set exercise. We're gonna start with a little bit of cardio. It's just an in-place skip. So I'm gonna be bringing opposite elbow, opposite knee up, switching sides, and then just adding a bit of a hop in between. Now to turn it into my core, I wanna make sure that everything stays tight here in the center, and I'm using the core to bring that knee into the chest. And by alternating opposite arm, opposite elbow, I have to maintain my balance as I move. Staying on the balls of my feet. Now, if you don't want to skip or if you don't want to hop, you can always walk it. It looks more like a march, but we're just going to keep going here. Really launching off the ball of the foot, hiking up, using the core to get a little bit of a lift. Keeping the breath moving. Nice. Last few seconds here. We've got 5 seconds left to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then rest. Now we're gonna come on down to the mat for a push-up plank position. Take a breath. Coming down to push-up plank position, make sure that the shoulders stay right over the wrist, that the head is in line with the heels. 2 options. You can step the feet, tapping one toe and then the other. Since we are working on core, you wanna make sure that the core stays nice and tight. that you're pushing yourself away from the mat, or if you're ready to add a little bit more, take a deep breath in, and then you're gonna begin hopping in and out. So 2 options there. You can either step one foot and then the other, or you can hop in and out. Always, always, always make sure shoulders stay over the wrists and that the core pulls the hips down. We got about 10 seconds left to go. Staying strong. Whew. Last 5 seconds. Finishing in 3, 2, and then rest. Whew. Moving on to exercise number 3. We're gonna come down onto our backs and we're gonna do a classic crunch, but we're gonna be smart about it. Knees are bent, laying down on our backs, hands are gonna go behind the head, pressing the lower back into the mat. You're gonna lift the heart up towards the ceiling and lower right back down. When I lift up, I'm trying to get my shoulder blades off the mat while lifting my heart up, lowering right back down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Putting everything right here in the torso or in the core, lifting heart up, lowering right back down. We got 20 seconds left to go. Now try not to bring the elbows in, crunching the neck. You wanna open up tall, inhaling up, exhaling down. Whew. See if you can wiggle the toes. Final 5 seconds. Let's get 4, 3, 2, last one, and then rest. Whew. Let's go ahead and come right back up. Moving into our next exercise, we're gonna be doing lateral push-ups, lateral walking push-up. So this one's pretty challenging. I'm gonna show you a few different options. You're gonna start on one side of the mat, shoulders are right over the wrists, head is in line with the heels, 45 seconds on the clock. I'm going to step my feet apart, and at the same time, I'm gonna cross my hands, and then I'm gonna bring my feet together and my hands apart. From there, I'm gonna go over to the opposite direction, and I'm just gonna keep repeating that. So as my hands crisscross, my feet are apart. As my hands come apart, then my feet come together. Just moving from one side into the other. Now you can hold this push-up plank position as you catch your breath. And then as you're ready to move, step apart, cross, come out on the other side, and then alternate the direction. If you feel like you need to take a quick break because your hips are coming up high, drop the knees and then keep moving. Let's do one more in this direction. Hold plank for 3, 2, 1, and then rest. Whew. Nice, nice. So we're gonna start back at the top with all 4 of those exercises, 45 seconds each. Coming up to standing, we're gonna start with the in-place skip. So opposite elbow, opposite knee are moving. In this march, if I'm ready for a little bit more, I'm just gonna add a hop. We're just trying to get the heart rate up, but we always wanna think about the core, which is what we're working. So keep the core nice and tight as you're pulling the knee up to the chest and as you're swinging the arms. And I'm just hopping off the ball of my foot, giving myself a little bit of air, at the same time getting my heart rate up, doing a little bit of cardio with my core workout. We got about 15 seconds left to go. If you're marching, see if you can turn it into a skip for the final 10 seconds. Whew. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and then rest. Nice. Quick 10-second recovery. We're gonna come down to the mat for our next exercise, which are our plank jacks. Now in a plank jack, you can either jump the feet apart or you can step them. Setting up, 45 seconds on the clock, shoulders are right over the wrist, head is in line with the heels. I'm going to tap one foot out to the side, bring it back to center, and then switch sides. Make sure that the shoulders stay in line with the hips, that the head stays in line with the heels. You don't want the hips up high and you don't want the hips down low. If I'm ready for a little bit more of a challenge, I'm just gonna hop. So, arms, cardio, and of course, core. We got 10 seconds left to go. Keeping the breath moving. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and then rest. Whew. Let's go ahead and come back to our backs for the crunches. So laying on the back, knees are bent, feet are on the mat, hands are gonna go behind the head. 45 seconds on the clock, we're just lifting up and lowering down. When I come into my crunch, I wanna make sure that my lower back presses into the mat, my heart reaches up, shoulder blades are off the mat, and then I just repeat. If I bring my hands behind my ears, then I'm not going to rely on my hands pulling my head up. So fingers loosely behind the ears, lifting the heart up to the ceiling. Targeting the core, making sure that the lower back presses into the mat, lifting up. We got about 15 seconds left to go. Whew. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Oh, nice. And rest. All the way back to our walking planks. So we're gonna start on one side of our mat, and then we're gonna move from one side into the other. 45 seconds on the clock, starting in push-up plank position, feet together, hands apart. I'm gonna cross my one arm over the other, step my feet apart, pause on the other side, and then switch direction. So at one point during the exercise, you're actually balancing on one hand. Make sure that the core stays strong as you're switching sides. If you feel like you need to drop the knees for a second, take a breath, and then switching direction, come right back to your exercise. Shoulders stay over the wrist. We got about 10 seconds left to go. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then rest. Great job. Let's move on to strength set number 2. We're gonna be spending most of the exercises on our back except for one. First exercise up are the leg lowers. So laying on my back, 45 seconds on the clock, hands are by my hips, heels are pressing towards the ceiling, legs are straight. I'm gonna lower one leg down and then lift it up and alternate sides. Now I'm not letting my heel touch the ground. I'm maintaining the hold in this stretch, bringing that foot up, lowering the other one down. Really think about pressing the lower back into the mat without lifting the head up. So I want my shoulders and my hips to be pressing into the mat as I lower one leg down and then the other. Really trying to keep a nice straight leg, not pointing the toes, pressing the heels up towards the ceiling, and making sure that my heels stay right over my hips. Final few seconds, let's get 3, 2, 1, and then rest. 10-second recovery. Moving into our bicycles. So we're gonna be on our backs again. One trick that I'm gonna teach you with bicycles, you're gonna love me, it's gonna make it easier but better. Hands are gonna be behind the head. Start knees at a 90-degree bend. Now, when I bring my right arm towards my left knee, I keep my left elbow on the ground. I come back to center and I switch sides. So the main key is to keep one elbow connected to the ground so that I can bring these two together and come back to center, instead of looking like this. Really rotating, coming back to center, fully getting that rotation. Driving through the heel, coming back to center to restart, and alternating sides. So using one elbow as my kickstand. We got 10 seconds left to go. It is burning. Whew. Let's see if we can get 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then rest. Whew. This is the position of our next exercise. Quick 10-second recovery, and then we're moving into our heel taps. So when we're in our heel taps, I'm gonna be wanting to reach the outside of my heels. Same position as a crunch. Hands are by my side. I'm gonna lift my shoulder blades up while keeping my heart lifted towards the ceiling, and I'm just gonna touch the outside of my ankle with my hand, same side. If I wanna be a little bit more advanced, challenge myself a little bit more, I'm gonna reach the inside of my ankle so that I get more of that side crunch. 25 seconds left to go. Heel taps. You can either reach on the inside or the outside of the ankle. Make sure that you aren't crooking the neck, that you want the heart to reach up towards the ceiling, and you're just moving side to side. Really thinking about what's happening at the side body. Final 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Whew. Quick 10-second recovery. And then we're gonna come up for our final exercise of the round, and then we're gonna do it all again, the eccentric push-ups. So in an eccentric push-up, I'm gonna start in push-up plank position from my feet, not my knees. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a deep breath in, 45 seconds on the clock. I lower down, all the way down, drop to the mat, press up to my knees, and reset. So take a deep breath in, lower all the way down, slowly come to the bottom, press up, and reset. Trick of the trade. Make sure that the shoulders are slightly past the wrist as you lower down. Drop to the bottom, press up to the knees, and reset. Deep breath in, lower, drop, and reset. Let's do one more of those. At the top, lower down, drop, and rest. Nice job. So those are a great way to learn how to get your push-ups. A lot of push-ups is core. Let's start back from the top with our leg lowers. 45 seconds on the clock. I'm gonna be laying on my back, palms down by my hips, feet flex, one foot drops, and then the other. Really thinking about pressing my lower back into the mat and not letting my head and my shoulders come up. So head, shoulders, and hips stay on the mat, and I do not let my heels drop. Keeping a nice straight leg. If you have a slight bend in the knee because the hamstrings are tight, it's okay. But for now, we're really thinking about pressing the lower back into the mat without lifting the head and the shoulders up. Lowering down, we got about 10 seconds left to go. Last 3, 2, last 1, and then reset. Nice. Staying here, head and next into my bicycles. Again, in my bicycles, I want to use one of my elbows as a kickstand as I alternate from one side to the other. 5 seconds on the clock, 45 seconds on the clock. What? Here we go. Using my left arm as a kickstand, coming back to center, alternating sides. Trying to bring opposite elbow towards opposite knee, making that connection. Laying right back down, twisting again. Let the breath help you. 20 seconds on the clock. Really thinking about what my lower back is doing. I don't want my lower back to arch. I want my lower back to press into the mat as I drive through my heel. These are a doozy. Final 10 seconds. Let's see if we can get 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, and rest. Woo. Next exercise, heel tap. So I'm staying right here on my back with my knees bent. Straighten myself out. Just take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades come off the mat, and then you're just tapping the outside of the ankles. If you want the challenge, you can always reach for the inside. The inside is just gonna force you to laterally flex a little bit more. 30 seconds on the clock. We're just moving side to side. So these are also known as penguin crunches. Just a little FYI. I like to call them heel taps, even though I'm hitting my ankle. It's okay. Make sure the lower back presses into the mat. Lift the heart up toward the ceiling. We got 10 seconds. Let's get 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, and rest. Whew. Moving to our final exercise of this strength set, the eccentric push-up. So coming into push-up plank position, we're gonna slowly lower ourselves all the way down to the mat, using our core to keep the body nice and strong and stable like a piece of wood. Deep breath in, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lower down slowly, bringing your body all the way down to the mat, pressing up to the knees, and then resetting. Lifting up, shift the weight forward, lower down, all the way down, drop the knees, reset, inhale up, shift the weight forward, lower down, drop all the way down, press up on the knees, reset. We've got about 15 seconds left to go. Let's see if we can get 4. Coming up, 3, 2, last 1, press up. Body is straight and strong, lowering all the way down, and then rest. Nice, quick 10-second recovery, and then we're gonna move into the final circuit of the set, where we'll be in our plank position for hip dips. So 30 seconds for this exercise. If I measure the length of my elbows, I just grab the outside of my elbows with opposite hand, setting up in plank position. All I'm gonna do is create a mini rainbow with my hips. So you might have seen other hip dips with massive rotation, not you. Today, it's mini rainbows with my hips. The real work is happening on maintaining this strong elbow plank position and just slowly moving the hips side to side. So not a big rotation, just mini rainbows with the hips. Final 5 seconds here. 3, 2, and then quick switch to the next one. So I'm gonna come into a side plank position. I'm gonna stack my feet. I'm gonna lift up so that my elbow is right over my shoulder is right over my elbow. I'm gonna bring my hand behind my head, and then I'm gonna try and crunch my top knee to my elbow. If that's challenging for this one, I can drop to my knees, and I'll do the same thing. So I'm just gonna bring elbow to knee. I can come to my knees on this one because I'm still having to maintain that strength right here through my right elbow. Let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side. Same thing, let's try it from our knees on the first one. Straight line from my shoulder down to my knee. Top hand, top elbow is coming towards top knee. Crunching in the center. Opening up. Nice. We got about 10 seconds left to go over here. And then we're gonna move right back into our hip dips. Last 5 seconds. Let's see if you can give me 2, 1, and then switch. So right back to my hip dips. Setting up my plank, making sure that my elbow's in their proper location. Elbow plank. Once I'm stable, I'm just moving my hips slowly from one side to the other without getting a massive dip in my hips. 15 seconds left to go. Mini rainbows with my tailbone. Make sure that shoulders stay right over the elbows. Whew. We got about 5 seconds left to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming into our side plank from the knees. Shoulder is right over the elbow, lifting up, hand behind the head, crunching knee and elbow together, right in the center. Advanced if you want to take it, you're on the feet doing the same exercise. Final 10 seconds. Whew, this is a doozy. Whew. Ugh. Last 5. Give me 2 more. 1, 2, and then switch sides. So we'll start with the knees down. Again, I want a straight line from my shoulders to my knees, hand behind the head, bringing elbow to knee. This is the last exercise that we have to do of this entire set. Finishing nice and strong. If you want to take the advance, coming up onto the balls of the feet, meeting in the center. Elbow to knee. Less than 10 seconds. Let's see if we can get 3 more. 3, 2, last 1. Whew. And then rest. Excellent job. So that right there was our 20-minute bodyweight core workout. Thank you for working out with me, and we'll see you